Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. We're going to jump into Ted's top stories this week. The first one is this one. Ted, what's this?
Yeah, two quick ones. And I actually didn't get to watch this video, but I did a transcript, dump it into Grok, got an overview, and I was like, okay, this is very interesting, something I want to read later. I try to not listen to a ton of economic stuff because it can sometimes be a black hole of time. But there are some interesting points that they made, and they're kind of taking like a contrarian Bitcoiner take. Some of the things they were saying is that Bitcoin is likely not to be a winner-take-all market, monetary, in terms of currencies. It might be a winner-take-most market. So just like today, the US dollar, global world reserve currency, but there's plenty of other currencies in the world. You could say they're all kind of linked to the dollar in some way, but their argument is that Bitcoin may take most and become that world reserve asset, but it won't necessarily be the only currency that other people are using. There still might be fiat currencies. I thought that was very interesting. Another one was that they believe fractional reserve lending will continue to exist, which I do agree with as well. But it just might warp how debt is issued. However, they make the point, and I need to go watch this video, but they make the point that some of the things like interest rates or terms in debt may not be purely due to the money, or may not be due to the money to the degree that a Bitcoiner might expect, but it actually might be due to like the business climate or other risks that the bank is aware of. And so those factors will still exist in the future. So even in a hyper-Bitcoinized world, debt may not be radically changed from how it is today. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I want to check it out too, because I don't necessarily, if I would wholeheartedly agree with any of it, but I do think it's fascinating to have at least another point of view of how they see it. How do you think it's going to play out? Do you think there will be, I think you just said right now there'll be fractional reserve. Do you think there's anything else?
Well, that's what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely.
How do you think it plays out?
Well, if you look back in time, thousands of years, there is sort of an interest rate on debt that seems to be fairly static. And I think it's like 20% is the interest rate. And only recently has that number come way down. So, I think you could probably argue that, well, at least my thinking was that the interest rate will go back to 20% because that's what it's been historically over a long stretch of time. And yeah, I guess they're offering a different opinion, which is the interest rate may not change so much in a Bitcoinized world, or may change to some degree, but the majority of the interest rate is being derived from the business environment. That's the very short Grok overview that I got, but it did spark some thinking. I like this Bitcoin contrarian takes, and I do think that over time we have seen a lot of this stuff not change as radically as we might expect.
Yeah, totally. I think the SBI is what's spurring a lot of this conversation, which is good. Gets more people interested for all hopes of reasons. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that's the first touch or second touch point they have to get into Bitcoin. But ideally, Bitcoin standard. But we'll see. Yep. What is a hottie toddy? I don't know what a hottie toddy is.
Hottie toddy? Where are you seeing that?
I saw that on the shirt.
Oh, hottie toddy.
Is he Todd and then he's just saying he's hot? Is that what he's saying?
I have no idea. I wonder if that's a team.
What's a hottie toddy? What's a hottie toddy?
Oh, what's a hot toddy?
Hottie toddy.
I know what a hot toddy is.
See his shirt?
His shirt.
Oh, well, a hot toddy is, it's whiskey.
Oh, can you talk to the mic? Can you talk to the mic?
It's like whiskey, honey, and I forget the third ingredient, but it's like hot tea.
Oh,
yeah, it's like a remedy for when you're sick.
Mm.
Yeah,
nice. So maybe he's on a hottie toddy right now. That would make sense. Cool.